How can one can make a difference if it's given by you to someone less fortunate? And TV3 is making it easy for you to lend a hand. The next time you're shopping in any area Farm Fresh, make sure you pick up an extra non-perishable food item and drop it in the Food for Families basket. From here, it goes to area food banks for distribution to needy families. So you see, one can make a difference if it's given by you to make the holidays happy for everyone in the land of the free.
This is CBS.
Coming up next on News 3, in a rare television interview, President Reagan is questioned about the Soviet-U.S. summit.
The standoff at the Atlanta Penitentiary could be winding down tonight.
And Hampton Roads cabbies are a bit more cautious tonight in the wake of the brutal murder of a Norfolk cab driver.
And Soviet immigrant Natan Sharansky says the struggle to free Soviet Jews will not be pushed under the rug at the summit. Those stories and more coming up next on News 3.
Earls is freezing out the competition at our wild winter sale with near zero prices like these.
Top of the line fresh ground McCormick pepper in the 2-ounce size, now just 69 cents. Save on these 5 different delicious Morton family meals, only $1.38. And a seafood lover's delight, fresh white Gulf shrimp, just $3.79 a pound.
Just 1 week to get super low prices during the wild winter sale at Earl, where your business is always appreciated.
It's Estee Lauder Christmas '87, and we have a special offer that goes everywhere you go. A complete collection for beautiful eyes, fabulous lips, 22 essentials to slip in your bag, or keep at home in a reusable tray. This $100 value is just $22.50 with any Estee Lauder fragrance purchase. Then you'll have the luxury of Estee Lauder at your fingertips. Estee Lauder's special holiday offer is yours at all Miller and Rhodes stores.
What's so special about this Saturday at Thalheimer's? In a nutshell,
Sale!
Saturday only. A sale so special, so big you can't miss it.
Sale!
Saturday only. Thalheimer's December one-day sale starts bright and early when we open all doors at 8 a.m. sharp.
Sale!
Then get ready, because all day long it's one big
Sale!
Save 25% and more on selected items all through the store.
Sale!
Saturday only. Thalheimer's December one-day sale. Now that you know about it, get cracking.
Sale!
Discover the land of the free.
Good evening, I'm Gene Kapp.
And I'm Michele Harvey. Tonight, there's word of an agreement in Atlanta.
But still no signatures on the deal.
After 11 days of negotiating, officials say Cuban inmates have accepted a pact for the release of 89 hostages. But at this hour, we still don't know when the actual agreement will be signed.
Michael Putney has this late report from Atlanta.
The siege at the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary is almost over, and the release of the 89 hostages is only hours away. Negotiators initialed a 2-page agreement early this afternoon, and the 1,100 Cuban detainees approved it within a matter of hours. The agreement may still be signed tonight. At last report, the negotiators were waiting for the arrival of several witnesses requested by the detainees, including Bishop Agustin Roman of Miami, who arrived here only a few minutes ago. We still don't know the terms of the agreement, but obviously a compromise was reached on the crucial issue of deportation for the Cubans held here. Officials say the agreement will also apply to and benefit several thousand Cubans in legal limbo across the country. If the agreement is signed tonight or early tomorrow, the 89 hostages could immediately walk out of this penitentiary where they have been held captive for the last 11 days. In Atlanta, Michael Putney for CBS News.
Tonight, Norfolk cab drivers are taking extra precautions in the wake of this morning's shooting death of a taxi cab driver. Police say William Slaughter of Portsmouth was dispatched to the 500 block of Chester in the Ocean View section of Norfolk. Neighbors reportedly heard gunshots, and when police arrived, they found Slaughter. The yellow cab driver died later at the hospital. Now, the incident is leaving area cabbies very worried tonight.
I'm having a lot of second thoughts about it now, because I end up asking myself, is it really worth it? You know, cab drivers don't make a lot of money, and for this to happen, I know a lot of drivers are probably asking themselves, is it really worth it? A lot of us have families.
At this time, investigators say they have no suspects, and there's still no word yet on the motive.
The U.S.-Soviet Superpower Summit is now just 4 days away. Tonight, the latest CBS New York Times news poll shows that 45% of Americans polled fear President Reagan may compromise too much with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev in an effort to get an arms deal. Earlier today, in an interview with TV network anchorman, the president was asked about the results of that poll and whether he would be too soft at the negotiating table.
I haven't changed from the time when I made a speech about an evil empire. And I think I could sum up my own position on this with the recitation of a very brief Russian proverb. Dovyai, no provyai. It means trust, but verify.
The president was also asked to assess Gorbachev's truthfulness when he talks about Soviet involvement in Afghanistan and the extent and causes of anti-Semitism in the Soviet Union.
Well, as I say, I have to believe that he believes their own propaganda. He grew up with us in hearing this.
You believe that he believes that he has 115,000 troops in Afghanistan committing genocide almost daily simply because they were invited in there?
Well, you must remember that there were other leaders under which this happened. He inherited that. And those leaders are the ones who had created the puppet government. Now, whether he knows that to what extent they did that or not, I don't know.
President Reagan did say today that there's a reasonably good chance he'll be in Moscow next year agreeing on a 50% cut in strategic nuclear weapons. Tonight at 11:30, CBS will broadcast the entire interview.
Soviet Jewish immigrant Natan Sharansky tonight called that upcoming superpower summit an important moment in the struggle to free Soviet Jews. Now, Sharansky stopped in Norfolk this evening en route to Washington for a mass rally to protest the Soviet immigration policy. It was a warm welcome for one of the most notable Soviet Jewish immigrants, Natan Sharansky, who was released from a Soviet prison in February 1986 after a personal plea by President Reagan. Sharansky, now an Israeli citizen, is concerned that Mikhail Gorbachev will pay only what he calls lip service to the issue of human rights. In Washington today, the president told human rights activists Soviet immigration will be a topic for discussion at the summit. But Sharansky says the Reagan-Gorbachev meeting comes at a time when the immigration of Soviet Jews is up, and he says Gorbachev will no doubt use that as a public relations ploy.
But they are releasing one after another known cases, selling them like hostages in the moments which are good for them, before summit, before meeting Schultz and Shevardnadze, and trying to diffuse with this all the pressure, trying to paralyze our struggle.
She's going to be joined with her husband, Victor Feyermark.
Another handful of emigres was released today by the Soviet Union, something that's become a pre-summit ritual of sorts. And to Sharansky, another sign that the Soviets are trying to create an illusion that emigration is no longer a problem.
That's why it's so important to demonstrate to Gorbachev that he cannot dictate, he cannot deceive public opinion of the United States of America.
And Sharansky says a massive demonstration this weekend in Washington will be one way to show Gorbachev that the struggle to free Soviet Jews is still very much alive. Now, that rally will take place on Sunday. On the eve of the summit, and at least 500 members of the Hampton Roads Jewish community will be making the trip. Still ahead, presidential hopeful Pat Robertson finds himself once again facing accusations about his sexual past. We'll have that story up next on News 3.
Also coming up, the countdown is on for the USS Kidd. It'll be pulling into port in a matter of hours. We'll take a look at homecoming preparations.
Now, Oldsmobile makes it possible for your Oldsmobile dealer to pass along special savings, which Oldsmobile provides to its dealers on selected new 1988 models equipped with air conditioning. Save up to $775 on Cutlass Sierra, up to $775 on Delta 88, or get $600 savings on Cutlass Calais. Combined with Oldsmobile option package savings, your total savings could add up to $1,575, depending on the model you choose. See your participating Oldsmobile dealer for details today.
My dad has 2, my brother has 1, I now have 3, Mom has 2. I had it 2 years, and it's going to be 3 years in December.
Almost 5 years.
For 10 years. No problems whatsoever. No problem.
Absolutely none.
It's more reliable than my husband. My husband's not around anymore, but my Seiko is.
Seiko.
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 Seiko. It's just your style.
Available at Spurtner Jewelers, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Portsmouth.
When you give someone a gift pack from Hickory Farms this Christmas, you're giving them the world. Because we go to Nebraska and Iowa for our award-winning beefsteak, Winstead, Minnesota for Uncle Walt's cheddar, Virginia for our sparkling apple shine cider, and San Francisco for delicious candies. We search the world to find unique foods for our Christmas gift packs. So come to Hickory Farms. We'd like to put one together for you.
The Cisco Kid visits the hill.
How should I know anything about a horse? Hey, slow down. You go with your... He's got a gun.
Bad Luck visits LaRue in Washington.
We're in deep sewage, Neil. What we did's a felony, babe.
And a couple of cops drop in on a block party.
Put the stuff down on the ground. I don't have to tell you more than once. Forget you!
Temperatures rising on Hill Street Blues.
Discover Hill Street Blues tonight at 11:30 on TV3.
Republican presidential candidate Pat Robertson is once again on the receiving end of accusations involving his sexual history.
A Korean War barracks mate of Robertson said he recalls him as, quote, an inconsiderate young Marine who messed around with the prostitutes and harassed a Korean girl who cleaned their quarters. Paul Brosman, a retired Tulane University professor, made those statements as part of the record in Robertson's $35 million libel action against former Representative Pete McCloskey, Jr. In his deposition, the 60-year-old Brosman said he only had secondhand knowledge of the lawsuit, but said under questioning by attorneys on both sides that he remembered Robertson used to, quote, terrify the teenager who cleaned the barracks, pinching her and carrying on. Brosman also said, quote, a lot of guys messed around with the prostitutes, including Pat. Brosman told the Associated Press he had never actually seen Robertson visit a prostitute, but, quote, I understood. I knew for a fact that he had done so. Connie Snap, spokeswoman for the presidential candidate, said of Brosman's deposition, quote, none of it is true. It's so outrageous, it's not even worthy of an answer. Robertson, who now advocates sexual abstinence outside of marriage, says he did not adhere to that standard himself prior to becoming a born-again Christian and an outspoken TV evangelist. And while on the subject of Pat Robertson, the candidate won approval today to get federal funds for his presidential race, even though he has said he may not accept money. In New York today, actor Eric Roberts had a run-in with the law, and a vice president of a major airline faces drug smuggling charges. Just two of the stories in tonight's World News Update. Actor Eric Roberts was arrested today and charged with trying to punch a policeman. The 31-year-old Roberts was also charged with possession of marijuana. Police picked up Roberts after a woman complained he was banging on her neighbor's door. When police tried to stop the actor, he allegedly started swinging. Roberts' films include The Pope of Greenwich Village, Runaway Train, and Star 80. A vice president of a Southwest airline who used to work for the CIA is behind bars tonight, charged with drug smuggling. Federal authorities arrested Eugene Thurston of America West Airlines after he had just landed a passenger flight from New York. The government says Thurston and several other men smuggled some $1 million worth of marijuana out of Colombia, South America. America West Airlines has relieved Thurston of his duties as vice president. And two men convicted of civil rights violations for the murder of talk show host Alan Berg received sentences of 150 years today. Berg, you'll recall, was shot in front of his Denver home in 1984. A federal judge today said a life sentence would not be sufficient in this case. David Lane and Bruce Pierce will have to serve at least 50 years of their terms before they're eligible for parole.
Just in time for Christmas. That's what hundreds of Hampton Roads Navy families are saying tonight as they pull out all the stops for the early morning arrival of the USS Kidd. Now, the Kidd has been on escort duty in the Persian Gulf since July 1st and was the subject of special reports here on News 3 when she pulled into port in southern France last month. While in the Gulf, the ship also participated in the shelling of an offshore Iranian platform, and needless to say, that duty was anything but routine. So tomorrow's homecoming will be especially happy for all the anxious Navy wives.
For the most of the time they were in the Gulf, it was an extremely anxious time. We really didn't know what was going to happen. Every time, you know, there was a tremendous news coverage about everything that happened there, and we just felt that they were in constant danger, and it was very difficult.
Tonight, the welcome home signs are still being printed, but even if those last-minute details don't get completed, the only thing that matters is tomorrow's pierside arrival in Norfolk at 9 o'clock in the morning. And there's sure to be a very warm welcome for the Kidd sailors tomorrow.
But the weather will be cold. Brian Hill has our frigid forecast when we return.
Flash
gosh, import car prices are up again.
The Olds Virginia Network offers every Oldsmobile on sale for 4 days only. This weekend, only through Monday, save hundreds on the new Oldsmobile of your choice at every Olds Virginia Network dealer. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday is your time to save on all Oldsmobiles. 88s, 98s, Cutlass Supremes, Cutlass Sierras, and the all-new Cutlass Calais Quad 4. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday, save on a new Oldsmobile. This is your week to join the Olds Virginia Network.
Only through Monday.
Take a look at Leggett. Just take a look, 'cause the sale is in the air. The sale is hot with savings everywhere. See what we've got. We've got sales so right for you. We've got the love, so whatever you do.
Save 25% and more at the Leggett Christmas sale.
Just take a look at Leggett today.
Merry Christmas from Leggett.
There's only one tire dealer in town with a complete line of Goodyear tires. With top quality service and now with prices that'll have other dealers running for cover. Because that dealer is cutting the price of every Arriva and Eagle GT in stock up to 25%. And there's only one guy tough enough to do it.
It's not just a price cut. This is war. War.
Try the fettuccine. It's fabulous.
Wendy's, where you get the best burgers in the business, introduces the new Super Bar.
If you eat all that, I won't be responsible.
With delicious foods like Mexican, Italian, and our garden spot, so you can make a meal that's as individual as you are.
Some of this, and I want some of that.
And for one low price, get unlimited seconds.
What dessert is that?
All of them.
The all-you-can-eat buffet at Wendy's new Super Bar.
Only your fourth trip.
Brian says, baby, it's cold out there.
When the USS Kidd comes in, the gale warnings will be up tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
15 to 30 knot winds. Ooh, a little rough at pier side. Yeah, but those guys can handle it.
They can.
And the people on the land, all you have to do is stand your ground and don't be blown away. Hi, everybody. Brian Hill from the WTKR Weather Center. Tonight, as I've been telling you all week long, there is a storm. Most of this brunt of this storm is going to be going to the north of us. But batten down the hatches, there's a possibility we could have a thunderstorm in the early hours of the night. Could wake you up while you're trying to sleep. Let's take a look at the temperature for Norfolk right now. 48 degrees, 46 Newport News. A little light shower over Newport News last hour. High 53 today, low 47. The Baywater temperature at 52. Right now, with that shower now moving away from the Tidewater area, the winds are from the southwest at 12. The humidity 56%, and the barometer is 29.78, and it's rising. The North American satellite perspective has been capturing this storm all day long as it started to wind up over the Ohio River Valley, and the eastern seaboard close-up on the storm is going to be able to give us a cycle through of it progressing from the west. And as we pull into the Virginia spotlight, watch these clouds as they come our way. As we cycle through in time, you'll see that we become blanketed with clouds. And the very latest satellite photograph, I'm going to highlight the area of the highest cloud tops, and you can see mid-state, the storminess is headed in our direction, although the brunt of the storm is going to be north of us, and that's good news for you snow haters, all right? Any precipitation that does fall is going to be falling in the form of rain or very wet snowflakes that'll melt when they hit the ground. 4 inches of snow has fallen tonight in Ohio. In Knoxville, a church roof has been blown off. Bad news as this storm just heads off to the east. Most of it, as I say, going to the north of us. Let's check out the traveler's weather. First of all, 39 degrees is none too warm for places like Washington, where they could pick up about an inch of accumulation tomorrow. Not here, but north of us. 56 is not a bad temperature for Atlanta, and that's what they can look forward to tomorrow. And snow in Philadelphia will be very light. We'll be right on that snow boundary. And Seattle will have showers. Pretty good day. And if you like snow in Boston, you could probably go skiing, cross-country skiing a little bit. Tonight, showers. You almost choked on it. It's so dramatic. Showers. Chance of a thunderstorm early morning. So you might hear some bangs and crashes while you're trying to sleep tonight. Low 38 to 43. Hail is a possibility in the early hours of the morning, too, because these storms are cranking up. Winds from the southwest, 10 to 20. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, windy, chilly, few showers. High 47, 52. Winds west, northwest, 15 to 30. Big blow for the big ship arrival. And for Friday night, windy, colder. Chance of a flurry, very small risk of a flurry as the storm cranks up as it sits out over the Atlantic low, 27 to 32. Moving right along. High tide 1:51, low tide 8:17, sunrise 7:01, sunset 4:48. The 5-day, precip Friday, cold conditions and windy with wind chill in the 20s, 42 on the thermometer, but 20s on Saturday. Sunday looks like the best day of the weekend at 47 once everything was blown by, and the wake-up call shows us in the 30s in the peninsula and around 40 degrees to start the day. So
your final advice for those greeting the USS Kidd?
Take a blanket.
That's a good idea.
Hatches,
An electric one, right? Thanks, Brian.
All right.
Still to come on News 3 tonight, Ross has highlights of the UVA win.
And we'll check in with the Tab Tigers, who are stalking the state title on Saturday.
It's the Subaru year-end clearance. The greatest Subaru deals in Subaru history. Stupendous Subaru savings.
Hold it! Instead of hype, Subaru gives you up to $1,500 factory cash back or 3.9 finance.
Enough! You won't be seeing this commercial much longer. Up to $1,500 back or 3.9 will be gone. Subaru's last blast. It's about to self-destruct.
Get up to $1,500 or 3.9% financing on select Subaru models. Program ends January 5th, 1988.
Come to Gold and Gems at Montgomery Ward for our jewelry advantage. Outstanding values in 14-karat gold, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and fine watches by Seiko and Citizen. Gold and Gems, where gold and diamond purchases are certified for quality and weight, and where diamonds carry a 100% lifetime trade-up privilege. Gold and Gems at Montgomery Ward. Great selection, great quality, and always great value. Save 50% on selected Benris, Jules Jurgensen, and Elgin diamond watches at Gold and Gems.
Dip into the holiday spirit with something new. McDonald's Holiday Chicken McNuggets in festive 9 and 20-piece packs and 2 new sauces. Tangy cranberry with a twist of orange and sweet apple spiced with cinnamon. Better chime in before holiday McNuggets are gone.
Purchase Holiday McNuggets at participating McDonald's December 4th through 13th and benefit the McDonald's K94 Scholarship Fund for Norfolk State University, Hampton University, and Elizabeth City State University.
For the favorites of yesterday and today, turn to Y96 WLTY at exactly 95.7 FM.
Well, the Virginia Cavs are back to their winning ways tonight. Ross is sitting in for Sal. Big night.
That's right. Came back from that loss to Rhode Island. The Virginia Cavaliers opened the safe non-tournament home portion of their schedule tonight with the Seahawks of North Carolina Wilmington. And with freshman John Crotty leading the way, the Hoos picked up win number 2. First half highlights, Virginia works the ball up top, and then it'll be Richard Morgan on the alley-oop to Billy Batch. There he is as the Hoos began to assert themselves after a slow start. Now, John Crotty had 20 points tonight, only 2 in the first half, but he helps out, feeding Jeff Daniel for the jumper right here. And coming up, a pretty play. John Johnson with the ball right here. The blind drop pass to Richard Morgan for the three-pointer. Virginia ran away with an 87-51 win. They're 2-1, and Terry Holland was pleased with the effort despite the slow start.
I think we were just a little tight at the offensive end of the floor. But we moved the basketball, we got great shots, and we finally started making them pretty regularly. It looked very good, and again, I thought we continued to play hard on defense, which was the name of the game through that stretch where the shots weren't dropping for us.
Elsewhere in the ACC, top-ranked North Carolina opened at home tonight. J.R. Reed, 12 points as Carolina beat Stetson. Wake Forest over Davidson by 13. It was Maryland by 13 over Winthrop. Peltry Williams poured in 20 points as Hampton blew away St. Paul's 87-68. And in one other game, it was George Mason 107-79 over Greensboro. At Wichita State, number 11 Purdue had its hands full, trailing by 8 late. But Kip, Indiana Jones connects with the hook shot, and we were tied up at 74 and headed for OT, where the Boilermakers had just enough to win. Todd Mitchell with the scoop here. Purdue nips the Shockers 80-78. Other top 20 action, we do have one upset tonight. SMU stuns Florida 82-76. UCL leading by 1 in the second half. Kansas, a narrow winner tonight by 5 over the Catamounts of Western Carolina. Remember the final week of the players' strike when the striking players came back but weren't allowed to play by the owners? Well, the players want to be paid anyway, and they may have a case which the National Labor Relations Board will present to a judge for a final decision, which, if it goes in favor of the players, could cost the owners a cool $20 million.
All right, another question. Were you one of the folks that thought the Rams made a bad deal when they swapped Eric Dickerson to the Colts? Well, if you had any doubt, today the Rams waived running back Owen Gill, which means that both players that L.A. got in return for Dickerson are out of action because the other one, Greg Bell, is out for the season with a broken shoulder. Bad deal. All right, this Saturday, the Tab Tigers and their explosive running attack featuring the one and only Terry Kirby will go for the Division IV state title against Martinsville. Kirby has rushed for over 2,500 yards this fall and for just about every one of the Tigers' TDs. But Coach Charlie Hovis says Martinsville won't simply be able to shut Kirby down to win. Tab will use the air if necessary.
Well, we feel like we can pass it as well as running the ball. We're not afraid to do it, and we just hadn't had the opportunity to pass or felt like we had to. As long as Terry's running the ball good, we'll let him go. But Jimmy throws the ball well. We have good receivers, so if we have to throw it Saturday, we will.
That's 1:30 Saturday, Bailey Field in Yorktown, and I'll tell you, if they have to throw a pass, I'll be amazed.